It's your boy Zap, King of the Giant Robots, and this is your tactical forecast for March 2023. If you're new here, I thank you for coming along. This is the monthly update video wherein I discuss the plans, the going forward, the going backward, and everything that you may see on this channel. Such as the unexpected one day off, where last month we took a look at a demo, and it was, for the next 3 hours after I had finished that recording, that I continued to play the game, just enthralled as I become in those sorts of games. And then I kind of get over it after a while, but that also is to be determined by my free time. And much of my free time is spent here, recording, creating content for you, and documenting things for myself. So let us discuss the upcoming schedule for this month. For those of you who actually watch the screen, you will see that now there will be animation in the screen. A clip or two from the video that I speak on. So let us begin, which seems to be everyday month, with the game every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Super Robot Wars Alpha 3. We will continue to stay the course, but it appears by my calculation, even if we have a few more sub-scenarios, we should reach endgame about the middle of April. There's just nothing to it. It's like a lot of really hype shit has been happening in Alpha 3, but at the same time, I'm growing more and more tired of the route splits that take away my units. I get that the game has to kind of manage who and what you get, when and where, so you're not constantly overwhelmed by choice. But when I create a plan, I would like for my plan to not be messed up outside of, say, somebody has to be put in an individual unit for plot purposes. Stop taking away a third, a half, a chunk of my active squad, and then I have to use B tier rosters. Also, stop giving me low deployment options. Not a fun time. But this is something that I will have to also endure when we get down to the Z series. Mostly Z1 and then the Z3 halves. Going forward, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday continues to be Front Mission First, the remake. Nothing... Well, no, not nothing. I came across a discovery that there are secret stages, and I missed 2 of them because the guide of stay on target and don't get lost with what to do place them in a completely separate section, as opposed to making mention, hey, look at this section for details about the secret stages. I got my first one, and I took one of my bench warmers in that new robot and did the same thing I did with Mom, and I have created a terror unit. The thing that is way too overpowered and will probably delete anything in a move or two. Hopefully, I will not have to fall back on it. But also, looking at calculations once again, it would appear that we will not hit the UCS scenario until April. I come just a couple days short of getting into the end of the OCU and moving on to the latter half of the game. Every Friday at noon Central Standard Time, we'd be mixing it up with Treasure of the Rujas. At the end of February, we did a split episode as we ran into the end of one scenario with about an hour left, so we did half another. And then I continued to run into that issue, getting that feeling that we were at the end of Serlant, so I played and recorded it separately and was like, yes, 40 minutes, that scenario is done. However, instead of doing the smart thing and just putting that off for a week to do a full 2 hours of Riza, I did an hour of Riza and an hour of Serlant in one day, and I really didn't need to do it that way. Oh well. Mistakes were made. But it's not like a bad mistake, it's just poor planning. Poor planning on my part that... It was so poor that I can't even talk through it. It could have been done better, not that it was done poorly. But, interestingly, this may be the month that Rudra ends. Depending on how long it takes me to get through Riza and then the final scenario, it is entirely possible that we will begin a new Let's Play at our Friday 3 p.m. slot. Which, even then, as I had considered previously, a new game may be the time to consider splitting things into 2 shorter videos for Friday and Saturday. It's not that I need to create more content, it's just a thought. That way I'm not locked into anything long-term the same way that I am for Super Robot Wars. I can create shorter sections, shorter videos, produce more, faster, harder, stronger. Speaking of shorter videos that I was producing every day, Vampire Survivors will wrap up with its final episode on the 10th. At least until more DLC comes out. I haven't seen or heard anything about any critical new updates for new shit or new plans for DLC, and nor do I plan on going through to do the checklist of every character beating every stage. I have better things to do with that, and I've also had my fill of Vampire Survivors. With that, after the end of Vampire Survivors, a new game will begin at the 6 a.m. slot, which is not necessary, but I also kind of want to keep something relevant going to draw attention to the channel and get people coming in. And as is tradition, I like to do things stupid and different, just so that my approach ends up being something different than everyone else's approach. Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line. Except it's only Benjamin. Also seen in the custom-made logo I made, Theater Rhythm Mystic Quest. The first episode, since the game requires you to play through one of 5 different Final Fantasy titles, I chose to play through Final Fantasy II in order to unlock Mystic Quest as soon as possible. It was the shortest selection I could have made. So we played through that. And then the series begins proper with the gimmick. As you play through Theater Rhythm, in the background, your characters are fighting monsters and doing an adventure. Which also, as you defeat monsters, you get experience, you get treasures, you get more stuff, and all kind of traditional RPG and Final Fantasy elements going on. A lot of bonus requirements need to be done within the stages based upon what your party does. I am playing it as though I were playing it with Mystic Quest. Benjamin will and always be in slot number 1. And then slot number 2 will be rotated out as per necessary, be it certain skills or certain characters that I might need to have in order to complete one of the in-game quests. As of this recording, I have 4 series done, episode 0 and 3 additional episodes. And because of my recording schedule as of current, and my increasingly less free time, there may be days where a video does not go up at 6 a.m. Since that is, secondary to everything else. It will be there and it will happen. And should some DLC or an update happen for Vampire Survivors, we will swing back, do a revisit, check it out, and then go back about some theater rhythm. Hopefully I don't miss a day. But much grinding will occur in between stages because it's a fun-ass rhythm game with Final Fantasy and some hype-ass music, and that's how it's going to be. But with the schedule covered, in other news, for exactly one singular day, for one day, and one day alone, this is, let me see, refresh this day, 17 days ago. Oh goodness, we have to do math. On February 10th, according to my math, on February 10th, 2023, I officially held the world record for G-Savior 80% New Game Plus. Granted, that world record was 49 minutes and was easily blown out of the water by friend and air quotes rival PMC Trilogy. I was still a world record speedrunner holder. I have the documentation. It is on the website. What is it called again? Speedrun.com. You can look up G-Savior for the PS2, and I and PMC Trilogy are listed under 80% New Game Plus. I'm qualified to run at GDQ. He and I hold a record, and he and I, or at least I, plan on submitting G-Savior when it comes time to submit runs for the next Games Done Quick event. I'm hoping it's in person. I've wanted for years to go to one, and being a runner, or even just being on the couch of a runner, is just like the perfect justification to go and be there. Because every year I'm stuck at work for the finale, and every year my coworkers are like, "Why are you crying? What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh, the charity just made $3 million." And they don't get the same feeling I do. But it's also hard to explain crying tears of joy when that's not a common thing, especially for a guy to do. And as I've said in the past, it's okay to fucking cry. Crying for happiness is especially fucking okay. I digress. I've also made a video game purchase for another game I'm adding to the list, or it may even end up on that 6 a.m. slot when Theater Rhythm wraps up. I used to play San Francisco Rush 2047 a lot in my high school days, and I got this weird flashback watching some other videos, and a sensation of feeling it's like, I want to revisit that. How can I go back to that? And the easiest way to go back to it was a Midway Racing collection on the PS2. So that may come to pass, if not just one of them fuck around, find out streams. That said, if there are any games that you, my viewers, genuinely think that I would be interested in, be that retro RPGs or current/retro mecha-themed games that are easy to acquire or easy to sail the 7 seas of the cosmos with, feel free to drop those into the comment box. You need not suggest Super Robot Wars, for that is my grand conquest, to play and document every Super Robot Wars game on this channel. One way or another, I will make it happen. I have the hardware, I have the software. I just need the time. And so, we shall run it back one more time to make sure that the schedule is simple and clean and you're ready to enjoy video tonight. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at noon Central Standard Time, Robot Wars Alpha 3. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, noon Central Standard Time, Front Mission First Remake. Every Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, sometimes at 4 p.m. depending on how it plays out, Treasure of the Rudras. Every day at 6 a.m. until it's done, Vampire Survivors. Once Vampire Survivors is done, hopefully every day at 6 a.m., Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, except it's only Benjamin. If you would like to help this channel grow and expand, please watch videos to their completion. Click that like button. Leave a comment. Feel free to go back in time and watch the backlogs of things you haven't seen yet. Leave a comment there. I do not get so many comments that I cannot respond to them and create a dialogue. I may not respond to them, but that just means I can't think of anything to say. Your comment shall be read, it shall be judged, and it shall be left unwanting for a like. I also stream infrequently at twitch.tv/ACE_Zappa. That is Ace_Zappa, where every Tuesday or Wednesday I will make an attempt to improve my speedrun time at G Savior. I'll do at least 3 attempts before moving on with my recording schedule. And to further promote G Savior, this month on what should be March 17th, let me put that thumbnail back on screen. On March 17th, I will be a guest on the podcast Giant Robot FM, wherein myself, Stephen Hero, and PMC Trilogy, the hosts of Giant Robot FM, will discuss the G Savior video game. I'm very excited to see, well, not see, but hear the rest of the G Savior month that I have shamelessly paid for out of my own pocket. Now, I kind of hoped that they wouldn't bring that to attention. I wanted to be kind of like humble and subtle and be like, y'all came to me because I have all this G Savior media and a little bit of extra knowledge. But they were honest and forthright and said as such that because I've been a high-paying Patreon, and especially for a long time, that I was called upon to be a guest. I was offered the position, it was not mandatory. And it was after that point that I started actually speedrunning. But hey, maybe this year, ideally this year, either in person or verbally, I will be on GDQ. Thus is the dream and the ambition of one giant robot nerd. Stay tuned here for more giant robot nerdery, antics, video games, unboxing sometimes. I haven't got any cool shit to unbox recently, but one of these days. Good night, Space Wolves.